In today's video, I'm going to be taking a ride on the newly built Tren Maya, the biggest train project in Mexican history, which was recently completed only a few weeks before I'm filming this. And so there's probably not a lot of information about Tren Maya on YouTube yet. I'll tell you how to buy your tickets. I'll tell you a bit about where I'm starting, where I'm going to, what options you have. And of course, I'll show you the train stations and the train. I've just stepped into the train station here in Tulum, and I'm going to be taking a 4.5-hour journey over to Merida. The first interesting thing you notice as you step into the station is you have 3 languages. If you're traveling in Mexico, you probably recognize that is Spanish, that is English, and that, though I don't speak that language, I believe is Mayan. The Tren Maya gets its name, is named after the Mayans, as you see some construction workers bringing in a bench. That'll give you an idea just how new this station is. They're still setting things up. In fact, as of this moment in the second week of January, there's a sign at the front that says that there's a cafe and a bar. There's nothing here at the moment. There's just empty spaces where shops could be, and I'm sure soon will be. But at the moment, there's not too much going on here. In fact, other than a handful of other people, Mexicans waiting for the train, I think I'm the only foreign tourist here. Yeah, I'll share some thoughts along the way. I'm going to show you not just the train station here, I'll show you the station when I arrive in Merida. I think that's my train they're announcing. My train leaves in 25 minutes, so this is probably it that they're announcing. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to show you what the train ride is like. I purchased my own ticket here, so I'm not sponsored by the government or Tren Maya or anything like that. If there's problems, I can tell you about them. If I enjoy the ride, I'll tell you about that too. Okay, so I got to grab my passport and go line up, but I'll just quickly tell you that a couple things about Tulum train station, first impressions. You know, beautiful building. I really like the open air concept. Even though it's really hot outside today, the architecture keeps it pleasantly cool. You have the breeze blowing through. You don't have the air conditioning. It's just naturally cooled by that interesting roof that you see above me. And yeah, I like that they have the Mayan language prominent in the signage as well. Just a reminder that this whole area, of course, the Riviera Maya, also named after the Mayans, this whole area has been inhabited by those indigenous people of Mexico for countless generations. There was actually some opposition to this project, given that, here, I'll show you a picture. As you can see, I believe this is the building of this station or one of the stations. But all around it, it's just endless jungle. You know, you might not notice that if you're just visiting Tulum or Cancun. But if you drive outside of the cities or you take a train ride like this, you're going to see just how vast the nature out here it really is. So there are some people who didn't want to see a train cut through all that. And I think there was also the topic of, you know, the land ownership and small indigenous communities who live in this area who might not have wanted the train either. You know, I'm not Mexican, I can't get into the politics of all that, but I think overall, if you're speaking environmentally, the idea of getting people to travel by train instead of just like flying from one city to another is probably a good thing. And hopefully the Mayan communities and the people who have lived here for a long time will see economic benefit from this and not just see their people's name in the name of the train. So my ticket for this 4.5-hour journey cost me 2,200 pesos. That's the premier class for a tourist. If you want a cheaper ticket, there's a regular class, which I think costs about 1,600. Oh, also, if you're a Mexican, there's a cheaper price. If you're a local from these states in Mexico, there's an even cheaper price. It's cool that they're offering discounts to the people who grew up in this part of the country. Okay, so up the escalator, here we are. We are at the tracks. Okay, and this will give you an idea of what the options are. So starting in Tulum. There's also a Tulum airport station. So I guess if you're flying in and you want to directly take a train, you can do that. Places like Bacalar, that's further south, further down the Riviera Maya. As you go up, Playa del Carmen, about an hour's drive from here. Cancun, about an hour and a half. Continues. But that is only a small taste of what you have here. That's only this. And just look how big the Tren Maya route is. Nearly 2,000 kilometers of train tracks, I believe. Going all the way into Chiapas, Palenque. Quintana Roo is the state that we're in now. We're going to be going up then over into the Yucatan state. Continues down into Campeche. And maybe there's one other state. I thought it hit 5 states. Oh yeah, Tabasco as well. Can't forget about our favorite little Tabasco, cutting through as well. It'll be interesting to see how the Tren Maya project does. I certainly hope that it attracts a lot of tourists. Part of the reason I'm making this video is hoping that I can show people that this exists and open a few people's eyes to this new possibility of traveling through the various states of Mexico. But I will say that given that the Riviera Maya gets a lot of Americans, Americans aren't really used to train travel. Very car-centric country. The idea of taking a train, I was talking to someone earlier today, it was like, oh, I've never taken a train before. I think that's the case for a lot of people. And so, oh, speaking of trains, here comes something. I'll film it as it arrives. If things like this can get a few more cars off the road and a few more people taking the train, I think that'll be a good thing. Wow. Well done, Mexico. That is one good-looking train. Here we go. No shortage of space today.
La próxima estación es Playa del Carmen. Next station is Playa del Carmen.
And just like that, exactly on time.
Te recordamos que no está permitido fumar a bordo del tren. Para la comodidad de todos.
And only a couple minutes outside of the station, you begin to see the endless jungle and trees that I was talking about. I wonder if this will continue for most of the ride or if we'll have any other scenes to look at. Got a little place for books or snacks. Tray table. So you do have plugs. You have one plug like this, and then you have 2 little USB-Cs. Or not the USB-C, the big USB-C, the big USB ones. I'm gonna let you know a little secret. I actually booked seat number 33, which is right across there. But I got unlucky because 33 doesn't really have a window, it just has that. I figured the train was empty enough that I could hop to the other side, but we'll see if this lasts the whole journey. For the moment though, I'm gonna relax, enjoy the ride, and then a bit later I'll share some thoughts as we continue our 4.5 hour train ride. Okay, so I just got my first included drink or snack with the Tren Maya, a Modelo Negra beer. It was really funny actually. When the woman offering the drinks was going by, she's like, okay, we have Fanta, we have Sprite. There was a Modelo like sitting there on her cart as well, and I asked like, can I have the Modelo? And she kind of like thought about it. She's like, okay, solo uno. She's like, yes, but you can only have one. Maybe she thought I was trying to get drunk on the train because like we just left and ordered a beer. I just only feel like the one, but you know, she had to think about if she wanted to give me the Modelo. But she thought about it. I got my beer, and away we go. Wow, look at those views. Gorgeous sky already. And it looks like our train tracks have risen a bit, so now you can just see that endless jungle in all directions. And this is what I was hoping for. If you're too close to the trees, you can't really see much other than the trees right in front of you. But if there's a bit of separation, you get to just see them stretch on and on. It's pretty cool. Cheers, YouTube. Salut. And the food has just arrived. She also asked if I wanted a sandwich or baguette. I asked for the baguette style sandwich. And I thought it would be arriving like an hour or two later, but 5 minutes later, here it is. The bag is warmed up. So that's going to be a hot sandwich. Now, in my experiences in Mexico, food is never too far away. So I imagine that even if you're in the normal class, the cheaper ticket, they probably have some sandwiches and drinks for sale. All right, so it is now 7:30 p.m. and we just arrived at Cancun. So I think we're about halfway. Quite a few people got off at Cancun and a few people are getting on. That to my left is another train which has stopped beside us. Estimated arrival time was 10:04, so we're actually 2 minutes early. How's that for efficiency? I'm a bit sleepy actually. The first couple of hours just kind of flew by. You know, I had my food, had my beer, had the sunset, and you know, then when it got dark and I was in the last couple hours, started to get very sleepy. But even in my sleepy state, I'm going to give you a couple of shots of the Merida train station before I leave. It's a lot more finished. They have shops for food and clothing and stuff like that. A little map over here showing where we went today. Tulum, up to Cancun, and then over. So to be fair, if you were to drive, it would be more direct because you would just be going like this. Final thoughts on my first time on Tren Maya. There were a couple of things I think could be improved, but nothing that would take a major change. Coming from Tulum, just make it easier for tourists to get to the station, more information about the station, especially in a big tourist city like Tulum. Like, you know, one of the stops we passed is Chichen Itza, the famous archaeological site. Taking the train is cool. If you can get dropped right there, spend a night at some little town, and then continue your journey, I think it's a pretty cool way to do it. And then it was freezing. Yeah, I fully changed into like a sweater and jeans, not because Merida is a cold city. It's very hot in Merida, but it was very cold in that train. So other than that, I mean, maybe a few more food options would be nice, but I'm really just looking for anything to complain about at this point, because the important things are that the train was perfectly on time. The ride itself was modern, smooth. There weren't any bumps on the tracks. Big thumbs up to the staff at Tren Maya. And yeah, I think it's an exciting time for Mexico for people who like new transportation options. I'm gonna end the video as I step out into the warm nighttime air here in Merida. So here we are, crowd of people leaving. Definitely more busy here than when I got on the train in Tulum. Hope you have all enjoyed this look at the newest train in Mexico. As always, I'm Dan, and I will catch you next time. Peace.